This call is now being
Este es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Oh, man, that's great news, eh? And I want to go and, welcome you to another episode of You Have a Collect Call From.
Okay.
And
Glad to be here.
Man, I'm glad to have you on. And man, if you think or I sound a bit giddy over here, a bit giggly, there is a reason behind that. So me and Joe were having a conversation right now before we started this live, and he just shared some information with me that kind of I mean, there's no other way to put it, but it boggled my mind. It was a straight MF. I mean, a mind F. I don't want to say the F, but it just threw my whole world upside down right now. What he shared with me, so what was the question I was asking you? I don't even know. I don't know how I went down this rabbit hole. I stumbled across this information that you just shared with me. Oh, you know what I was asking you? I remember now. I was asking you about like the because we were talking about about how the yards go out to day room, and ultimately
Oh, yeah.
the question I was trying to ask you was if you guys on D yard, and you had shared with me that there's 5 units. Is it 5 units or 5 buildings in D yard that consist
5 buildings. It's 5 blocks.
Okay.
Like anybody in prison will know exactly what it is. It's 5 blocks.
Okay. And originally, the reason I was asking those questions was because what I was trying to get to was I wanted to know if those 5 blocks go out to the yard all at the same time. But I think what I got from the conversation is that no, you just go out to the yard with your building, right?
No, you go out with the other blocks, but the top tiers only. So top tier from 1 block, top tier from 2 block, top tier from 3 block, and right here 5 block. So it'll skip 4.
And why does it skip block 4?
Because block 4, at least right here in this prison, I mean every prison is different, but in this prison that's reserved for level 1s, meaning they shouldn't be here because this is level 3. So they reserve block 1 for level 1s, and there's I want to say, watching them go to dinner, they look like they're 2 sections full, which means they're let's see, 200 inmates, maybe like 160 inmates in there. It looks like.
And but so I'm confused because you're in a level 3 facility.
Yes.
But they have level 1. Is what, like a layover, or are they just being waited? Are they there just to be transferred somewhere else? Exactly what's the purpose of level 1 inmates being there, or do they like work the kitchen to and provide you guys with the food? What's their purpose of them being there?
To the best of my knowledge, they come over here waiting to go to the level 1, which is E yard right here. Now, I'm assuming that E-Yard is so filled up with inmates that they have a backflow of level 1s. And to answer, do they work in the kitchen? They have no jobs. So the feedback I'm getting, as we're talking right now, the feedback I'm getting, because they've been here forever. As a matter of fact, when I came last year, they were here. So when they came, since I've been on this yard, they've been on this yard. And they're asking to go to college now. and they're asking for some kind of program because they've been here so long, and the institution does not give them yard, but when we leave. So we get yard at 8:30 to...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We get yard from 8:30 to 11:15, something like that. Maybe 11:30. So at that point in time, when everyone's off the yard, they'll release yard for them. But their yard is so little, bro, because it's like 11:45-ish to 12:30, and then the yard goes back to us, so they kick them all off the yard. So they have like an hour, if that, out there. You know?
Man, that's crazy because...
And they don't got no kind of program, and I know they want it. And the other time they were saying they didn't have a handball, so they don't even have handballs because we got all the handballs, you know. So one of the guys gave them a handball. Somehow, some way, we were able to give them a handball. And then somebody else was saying I was at medical and I was seeing them play the heck out of the handball. So poor things, you know, like they don't even have stuff, you know, and they're here. Who knows how long some of them guys been here, you know?
And why wouldn't they have a handball? Like, can't the administration order them a handball so they could have like their own GP handball over there on that side?
No, they could, but the thing is, I don't think no one's looking at them like long-term residency, even though they are turning into long-term residency, you know?
I see. So yeah, they're not. There's possibly been some people there that have been there for years, but originally when they came up with that idea or somebody put it on paper, they were only supposed to be there for
they didn't think about that.
Okay. So pretty much they're kind of lost in the shuffle, or they're in a gray area, if one could say.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, they're in a gray area.
Okay.
So that's the whole reason why they didn't have handballs. And then the cops probably, you know, not to say it like that, but the cops probably dismiss them. Like, you only get yard an hour anyways. So what are you crying about? Like, you know what I mean? Because that's like a normal cop attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, they're only level 1, so I mean, yeah, they're not.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know, I could see that too.
Like get out of here. You're at level 1. Like, come talk to me when you're level 3 and up, right?
Yeah, exactly. I could see that too. You know.
Yeah. Man, so and as far as them, like, do you guys ever come in contact with those? I know they're in a whole separate unit, but I don't know, like, when it comes to like going to like school, going to medical and things of that nature. Do you guys ever, you know, come in contact with each other, rub elbows, or have any interactions with them?
Bro, okay, two answers. Bro, they don't even go to visits, bro. I don't even think they're allowed to go to visits, you know, and that's sad. So no, nobody rubs elbows with them at school or nothing because they can't go to school. They're asking, they're trying to get college material so they can have in the building so they could do something with their time, right? They can't go to school with us. They can't get no jobs with us. They can't get no vocation. They can't get zero. They literally almost got zero program. The only one that that gets to interact somewhat with them is like me and my coworker, because we work medical. So when we work medical, our officers don't care what's going on. They're calling us in. So whoever's in there is in there. So only me and my coworker get to rub elbows with them, so to speak.
Wow. And a moment ago you just mentioned that they don't get any visits. How is the administration able to get around that? Because everybody's technically, if they're not like on ADSEG or the SHU, right? They're entitled to visits.
Yeah.
And like people in reception entitled to visits also?
In reception, you could get visits. When I went through reception, you could get visits behind glass only. But you could get them. So maybe they're behind glass. Maybe they could get them behind glass. I don't know. But I know they don't put them out with everybody.
And the reason that they possibly don't get visits is because all DR shares the same the same visiting unit.
Yeah. So DR visiting is for DR. C yard has their visiting. A and B yard have their visiting each. So every housing facility has its own visiting area.
Okay, your phone went quiet for a few.
Oh, okay. Could you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, every facility has its own visiting area. So yeah.
And then you had mentioned earlier on that you do come in you do come in contact with them in like the medical area because you do work in that area. Technically, according to their policies, if they know that like what you're standing, they're supposed to do something about it if they don't want to remain on that yard, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh wait, hold on. But okay, let me ask you this. So,
Okay.
but if their whole unit is technically GP, does that still make them bad if they're not physically or in the same unit as a so-called SNY or non-designated inmate?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. That or else there will be no need to attempt to leave,
So they can't say like, hey, like, yeah, I was on D yard, but I was in a good unit. I was off, and we were not mixing with any of the other individuals there. Like that wouldn't fly.
Okay, I have to only give you this in my professional opinion.
Yeah.
Anyone that stays, including the unit, I mean, consider them what they've decided to side with, or I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but in my old way of thinking and training, if I go to a unit and some guy tells me he's been there a year, then I know what to do with him in the unit, or I would have known what to do with him in the unit.
So,
because now I'm looking at you guys the same. Now I'm looking, okay, I got you. You've been here a year. Okay, don't trip, bro. And then do what I do, and then here I am. I'd say,
Okay, I think I'm following here what you're saying. So if you were coming into this unit,
yes.
And then you ask somebody and like, hey, like how what's going on here?
Hey, how long you been here, bro?
Yeah.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Your old way of thinking would have, you would have acted accordingly, and
I would have and left.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And for the most part, that's what happens sometimes right here, And sometimes it don't happen like that. Sometimes you're going to breakfast and there's somebody getting medication, like one of them old timers that because they don't call everybody that early. You got to be like special to get called in, like like at 6 o'clock or 6:30 or 6:20 to medical. So like you got to have some kind of illnesses, So you have to be up there in age. And the only time I've seen on this yard where where people don't get off on a 4-blocker is when they could find somebody.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
When they could find somebody, and it's only going to be an old guy at that time out there,
You know what? And that pops another question into my mind. So let's say they catch somebody a 60-year-old out there, and they gave him a calentada, and the DA picks up the charges.
Yeah.
I know this is ludicrous.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and the DA.
No, I get where you're going. I get where you're going.
And they pick up like an elderly abuse case. How does that?
Yeah.
What happens? What happens to that person?
Man, bro. I mean, that might be a double whammy. You know?
Yeah.
It might be like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know? That's a good question, bro. I can't even answer that one. I know the guy in the shoes.
My apologies for the laughter there. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but these are like real like events that are I'm pretty sure somebody's have to I'm sure some people have to deal with something like this. They in their mind they were doing the right thing, and then they picked up a in-house case on elderly abuse, and I'm assuming that's frowned upon. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This is just pure speculation on my side. I've never been upstate, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking these questions, because I'm definitely curious to find out the answers. But anyhow, I do see Felipe Navarro in here. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello,
James.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. That might be a double whammy, bro.
And you know what? And what kind of piqued my...
And those happen. Those happen in real life. Double whammies happen all the time.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I for sure know this, because I'm gonna share a interesting story that I have. When I was back in camp in 98, I was in Camp Scudder.
Yeah.
There was this one incident where there was this kid. He had just turned 18. All right, he was 18 years old. He was still in camp because obviously he hadn't finished his camp program, but he got into a game. They were just playing slap boxing with somebody that was under 18. I don't know if they were like 16 or 17, whatever. Anyhow, I mean the whole point of the story is that they were underage. All right, everything was fine and dandy for like about a day, and then somehow the younger kid he starts complaining about having some type of pain. I don't know if it was in his face or his chest or wherever they were hitting each other. Right? They find out, they investigate, and they end up pull out the 18-year-old, to start questioning him, about what happened. And next thing you know, the staff members are talking about, calling the cops and having this dude picked up on a child abuse case. And
yeah.
And the 18-year-old, he was shitting bricks, like he never in his mind, did he think, something like that, was gonna happen. I think at the end of the day,
yeah.
I don't think they ended up, pursuing it anymore. But it was a real.
Yeah, but he had to check his calzones, huh? He had to check them bad boys.
Yeah. Imagine, if they would have pressed the issue, he would have ended up with some charges like that, and he kept down his criminal career. It would have been over before he even started.
Yeah.
Once he hit county jail in upstate, because I don't know how he was gonna be able to explain that. He was slap boxing with somebody when he was in the halls, and it just went all bad for him.
Yeah, it went all bad. Yeah.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Hey, you could go.
Yeah, double whammies do occur, and sometimes it really never happens. But I've met a little less than a handful of gentlemen who have socked somebody, and the person dies on them.
Wow. So at least 5 people then that have that been in situations.
Yeah,
like
I know. One was on the streets. and he got time, but he did not get a life sentence, and he had to register his hands after that. One was in prison, and the guy who hit him had in prison you buy drugs all the time, you use drugs, right? So the guy that ended up hitting him, he was the drug user, and he had ended up buying like $50 worth off of the guy that ended up dying. And we're talking about months later, he never paid him, and the guy that ended up dying, he would not let it go, and he kept pushing the issue over and over and over of how he's gonna get this guy, and finally it was said, okay, go get him, man. You know what I mean? Like, you've been bugging us for the past couple months now. Go get it. And he went over there to commit his own violence. And the poor old guy, he ended up getting socked by the younger drug user, and he died. He hit the ground. He never woke up. He never got up.
So the dealer, so the dealer was the older dude or the younger dude?
Yeah, the dealer was the older dude, bro. And he was like, "There's no way this youngster's gonna take my money," and everyone was like, "Let it go, fool. Like, it's nothing. It's only $50. It's nothing, right?" So the whole yard's like, "What are you doing?" And he wouldn't let it go. And then finally he got his way. And when he went to go do his due, he ended up dying.
Man.
And the other guy was in total shock because he couldn't believe he couldn't believe. I mean, they didn't pick up the murder right there, and I don't know if they ever did. But for the next couple of years, and I will see this fool at other prisons, he'll be like, "Dang, they haven't picked it up." But the time limitations never run out for a murder. So that little fool is always sweating that, you know?
And was he a lifer, or did he have a out date?
You know what? I can't even remember. I can't even remember if he was a lifer or he had an out date, you know? But I know he was from Venice, you know? So, what up, Venice? You know? Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Venice, last night I was...
if he ever listens to this, he's going to be like, "That's me, fool," you know? Everyone knows, you know?
I was looking up, because I'm trying to add like some signs to the background. I was looking up some, some LA street signs, and one of those, that's a sign that came up. You know, like, I'm not sure if you know, like the LA signs, they're like, or the street signs, they're like blue and with white letters.
Yeah.
So I was looking them up, and I came across one that had Venice on it. So I was looking one that.
Okay, that's good.
That fit, the part of the city I grew up. I'm originally from the Mid City area, so I was looking around, and I want to pick one of those up, to throw in the background over here.
Okay, that's right. That's good. Hey, you know what I wanted to say that I didn't say? I know we're trying to go somewhere with it, right? But I really want to say this. I always talk about prison, and I always talk about this and that, right? Well, I know statistics from a ghetto standpoint. I know statistics from nobody's teaching me this. This is just stuff I'm learning. It's I know this, I know that. And I hear other guys talk sometimes, and they're ghetto, and I love them. Sometimes they're on point with it, and I'm like, yeah, truth. Well, I also like hearing professors talk too, right? Like people on the other side that have been wearing a business suit for their entire life, that have never stepped in prison, but they know their shit, right? So I ran across a video on Adobo, and it was like a TED Talk. And it was it was something like why progressives should hate prison, or something like that, something. And he had some statistics up there. And I was like, I knew it. Like, I never had the numbers, but now I do. So, the prison system in 1976 was $20 20,000 inmates. And I'm saying this because I remember one time I was talking about Norwegian prison when I didn't know it was the Norwegian prisons. And I don't know if it was you, James, or someone else that was like, how come we can't be that? And then, you know, there was like a couple of opinions like, oh, Cali will never be that because we're this, we're that, right? We're too violent. They don't think the same. But if you look at 1976, we were 20,000 inmates. And I do believe I had mentioned, like, you know, laws cater to more time. Like, this ain't by accident. This is by design, you know? And I know 1994 was a big part of it. But in 1976, there's 20,000 inmates up and down California. Now, in 1986, I just did the numbers by 10 years.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
That 20,000 jumps to 50,000. That is an increase of 30,000 inmates in California. Now, here I come. I'm a 97 baby. So I just jumped from 96 to 97. And pretty much 96 is 97 on the scale, right? 1976, 20,000. 1986, 50,000. 1997, the year I am arrested. What would you guess that number to be, James?
I would say
with
easily,
what I just said right now.
I would say at least easily 100,000.
160,000 in that 10-year gap. So I was in here in prison with a criminal mentality, a gang mentality, and I was boasting, we did it. We're breaking the system. We're cracking it. Like, these fools in the 80s didn't. They don't know what's up. It's these 90 babies that came in, and we're flooding it. Because guess what? My P number got eaten up so quick, and now they're on this number and that number, and now they're on double-digit numbers. But guess who broke it, right? So I used to, in my warped mind, I was, you know, you're at the bottom of the barrel. I got nothing. But I still want to brag about something. And I'm bragging about, like, who really put it down in California, generational, who really made the mark, right? We had 160,000 inmates in California in 1997. And now there's factual, it's always been there, but I had no knowledge of it until just the other day. Now I have factual numbers of how it looks on paper, on years. And these laws that changed, I do believe I mentioned 2018 on here and how big that year was because everyone's going to be aging out. Everyone's going to be getting more expensive for the state. And they had to figure out something because they wanted, you know, of course, everything, above all and everything's to protect public safety, right? You commit a crime, you go to jail. That's without saying. But the extras, all the extras that they did help and fluctuate that number. And this guy I'm listening to, I'm watching him on the video. He's not a criminal. On the contrary, he is a law-abiding citizen. I think he was a district attorney for San Francisco. And he's like anyone else in America. He's like, when I got this job, I think I'm making a difference. These guys are coming up, lock them up, get that criminal off the streets. I think I'm making a difference. We're maxing them out. We got this enhancement, that enhancement. And the thing that's so beautiful about this man is that he starts off in the criminal, against the criminal faction, right? He starts off as a DA, and he's locking these guys up. Now, what he doesn't see at the time, and he gets to see in this video, what he double backs on, is like, I did not know how this was going to work. I'm locking them up, maxing them out with the time in 1994. But in 1995, we're doing the same thing. So now 94 is collecting with 95. And now 94, 95 is collecting 196, and so on and so forth. Every year it's just stacking the decks. And the prisons are booming. And when we have that many prisons, what we did not know back then was violence kicks up. And when violence kicks up, long story short, the community suffers out here. Even though it's in prison, even though it's miles away, even though we got these guys housed way over there, the effect is happening. And he was talking about the days where every gym is holding inmates, where there's no gym to play ball because all the gyms are there. And he's talking about how the money aspect of the prison, not so much the number of inmates, but he's focused on the money of how inmates, the cost of prison was right here. I think he said it was like 5% when he took office, right? And that number shot up to like 40% or something, right? So
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
the more money they had to put into prisons, they took away from schools. They took away from here. They took away from there. So his whole video was about the money. I just grabbed those statistics on the number because they meant something to me, right? But everything in his video meant something to me. Everything he was talking about meant something. But he was talking about the money. And he was like, when you got more prisons, you got to hire more guards. And when you can't hire the guards because they're not coming in fast enough, you're hiring one guard and you're getting 20,000 inmates for the one guard. You got to do overtime. The money's costing, taxpayers paying. So that's how it starts developing into a $1 billion business, a $1 billion industry. But he was breaking it down so well, and I was like, man, I love seeing these guys talk because I love their opinions too, and I love how they break it down. You know?
And I know it's about to cut off. Guess I didn't speak fast enough, but I was just gonna say for him to call us back, and that's definitely interesting. You know, looking at these numbers. I mean, I didn't look at them. You know, obviously he did, but man, you know, from 76 up to 86 and up to 96, man, they're definitely they're really filling up that little piggy bank they had going on. You know, that's a. I wonder what was the highest population and what year.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello, hey Joe.
Hello?
So we just had M Star Media show up. She wants to know who I'm speaking to today.
Oh, that would be Joe, Big Joe.
That's right.
We got Little Joe too. That's right. We got Little Joe Young down there.
And we also had Felipe Navarro, you know, coming in from El Paso, Texas, sending us saludos. And now we also got LBCK15 coming in from Wisconsin. He's a transplant out of Long Beach.
Oh, my people! I love when the regulars come back. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Hey, let me ask you something because I was in the process of looking it up
Yeah.
right now. Do you know at what year was the highest that California had, you know, inmates at a single time? And if you know what year it was, do you know what was the highest?
I don't know. I don't know what year, but I would guess around 2001 to 2003. I would guess after the 97. You know.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now, so I'm trying to get some numbers. Wow, because you were definitely, you know, touching on some very, which I found very interesting. You know, that from 1976 it was 20,000. Then, you know,
I never knew we were that low. I never knew, and to see it was in the 70s, it blew my mind.
Okay, so the highest rate, I'm looking it up right now. The highest rate in California would be it was in 2006. So the highest
Okay.
recorded CDCR daily prison population was October 20th, 2006, and that was with over 170,000 people under custody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's only 10 more thousand. See, and it sounds ugly when I say it's only 10 more thousand than 97. Because it's a high number. Like, it shouldn't be that high. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's interested, I'm gonna go ahead and add a link to the Wikipedia page that I found with this information. And if you're curious and want to take a look at it, it'll be there for you guys to click on. And it's up. All right, put it in the chat at least.
Okay.
All right. So I know you were talking about something before the.
Yes. We'll get back to that now. Take it away, James. What you want to know?
No. Well, when you were talking in the middle of you were mentioning something before you got cut off. So, but I didn't have any. I didn't have a question yet.
Okay. Oh, I don't know what I was mentioning. I was just talking about the numbers and the business, because this guy was really focused in on the money and how quickly the money grew out of control. And he was like, he was focused in that aspect. But I love hearing these professionals talk, because he was on the other side of the coin. He's locking us up. And here he is, and he's like, he got a call from the governor at the time, and he's like, how do you say no to the Terminator? He's like, I want you in charge of this and this and this. And he goes, yeah, no problem. So he signs up for it, and it's another part of his job, his career. And when he goes right there, he's getting his mind blown now because of the things he's finding out. And he's like, wow. And then Governor Jerry Brown steps in, prison reform. Like, let's fix this. I helped mess it up. I want to help fix it, right? So this is another gentleman like that too. He's like, I thought I was doing the correct thing. And I'm not saying inmates should not get punished. Nobody is saying that here on me or that guy, right? Everybody has to do time for the crime. But he's saying in the way you sentence, in the way you shelf, in the way you forget, that is not right. Because it's costing, ultimately, it's costing taxpayers more money. And what we didn't know, we're trying to reduce crime, and it was actually kicking crime up. So they're experienced and seasoned men on the other side of the coin.
And man, it's, you know what? Because obviously, when they came up with this plan, it wasn't overnight. It was something that somebody came up with, and it was gonna take years for them to to put into effect. I would want to know who came up with this plan and when how far in advance they started this.
Well, I think it's in bits and pieces, James. Honestly, I think it's like that, right? It's like anything. It's like we got this piece of land, and now we're taking the minerals out of it. And when you see money, guess what happens? I tell you, hey, look, fool, I cracked this. I'm getting this much money for doing this. I put this down. And you're like, oh, man, let me in. And you're like, okay, come on, do. And now you added to it, and we're not thinking the long-term effects, like we're killing the planet. Doing this is going to kill that river. That river goes to all these cows and all this stream. And matter of fact, you don't even hit this state. It goes to the next state, and we're helping killing all that. No one's thinking about that as it's happening. They just see money. In any aspect in life, what you do is you see the money, you run to it, you don't think about it. And I think that's what happened with the prison system in California. You see money, and it looks like a good thing, and in the long term, it just didn't turn out. It just didn't work like that, It didn't work like that.
You know what? I'm not sure if I ever mentioned this to you, but maybe like a year or so ago, I was watching this video.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And I was watching an interview from one of the dudes from Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm not sure if it was. I think it might have been I think it was Lazy Bone.
Oh yeah, you told me You told me where the politician or somebody tells him, "Hey man, make some more violent music. We need to get these guys in prison."
Yeah.
That one, James? Yeah, bro. I can picture that. Mr. Burns right there with his little fingers together, like, yeah, let's get this. I could see that. Real good.
Yeah, and
your little buddy Easy E. Let's make him make another video, a real violent one.
Yeah, and then like I think everybody in that room they had to sign a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement form, that they weren't gonna ever speak about this. So it was during the time when CCAs were big in California.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, you know what? And
but
I get confused, because people talk about private prisons and they say like certain prisons are not real prisons in California. Do you know how to break that down?
I wouldn't know, because if you're asking me like this ain't a real prison in California, I might say some of the prisons in California, like, because I'm through my warped sense of belief, right? Mm-hmm. The old thinking, I'm like, that's not a prison. This is a prison, Mm-hmm. But the way you're talking, I wouldn't know how to determine what's real or not,
Okay.
Like state ran or private.
Yeah. Because I know like people will refer to like certain prisons as CCAs, or they would say they were owned by Whack and Hunt, and they would say that those weren't real prisons. But like to me, prison's prison. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, to me too. If you're doing time, that's real time you're doing. Now you can say that aspect of it, but if you're talking about like a violent, there's only 180s. There are cream of the crop for that kind of prison.
So that would be the level 4, right?
Yeah, but level 4s. Keep in mind, there's 2 level 4s. There's 180s, and that's the real. It doesn't get realer than that. And then there's 270s, which is a much softer level 4. So, because I talked about inmates right here, and you've also said, like, so if you're on this level, and I'll be like, yeah, because the lower the level, the softer the inmate is. And when I mean softer, I mean like less violent, less gung-ho, less Bruce Lee, less Chuck Liddell Iceman, The lower the level is, the lower it goes to the degree of violence.
I see. Yeah. So in level 1s and level 2s, they might be going out to the day room with slippers, because it's not that serious, or they might be sunbathing.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exactly. There might not be no rules, because guess what? We're on a level 1, guys. When's the last time someone died on a level 1? Probably never, guys. So the acts of violence are completely different.
Yeah.
And even to the point like this. Even on SNY yards or a 50-50, or I don't think they have no 50-50s on non-designated. I don't think they have non-designated. I don't think they have 50-50s if you're on a 180 SNY. I don't think that exists up there. Matter of fact, I know that does not exist up there. Because even though it's a SNY, if it's a 180, it's still a 180, bro. And it might even be worse. Because there's no rules. So there's no protected boundaries to not escalate things, if that makes any sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense, because you got one set of group that doesn't have any rules. You got another group that does have a set of rules. But
yeah,
if the majority doesn't follow those set rules, then it's gonna create chaos.
It could be chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be complete chaos in there. Yeah.
So let me ask you.
And
go ahead.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you after this.
And the reason I say that stuff like that, guys, is because there is very few, to my knowledge, there is very few SNY 180 yards, but they do exist. And I've never heard, as far as like a GP 180, and I've been to 4 of them, I've never been there where bones are being broken. Where people die, yes, all the time. Where people get sliced in the face, stabbed in the face, stabbed in the neck, all the time, yes. Where you get your eye taken out by a weapon, yes. But I've never heard of or experienced actual bones breaking on a GP. And I know stories on the SNY 180s where, like, they broke dudes' bones, you know? So that's what I mean, like, more chaotic, more, in my opinion, the level of violence is the same. But it can be a bit more because there's less things holding you back, should I say. But that only goes for a 180 SNY. That will never go for a SNY, a 50-50.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
On any lower levels. So when I try to say something, I try to give you guys the accurate truth, right? It will only happen on a 180s. 180s are the most violent, both sides.
Hello, Joe. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what? I want to ask you something. Well, I'm not going to ask you the question I originally was going to ask you. I'll ask you that one maybe after this one. But right now you were talking about people getting their eyes taken out, and I know we recently had a conversation. I'm not sure it was like 1 or 2 conversations ago.
Yeah.
Or episodes.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that you had like back in the days, when you were
verbalized that. Yeah.
You had verbalized that.
And those conversations were happening with like the best of friends, guys, because the best of friends, like, those are the only guys you're talking to really in there, You talk to everybody, but if you don't look at your peer, like...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
At least me in those times, if I didn't look at you like you would die for me, like you would kill for me, if I didn't look at you like I was to you, then I wouldn't even talk to you. We might say hi and bye just because we're of the same uniform. But who I hang around with and who I hung around with, those were guys that I deemed to be the worst of the worst, because I was the worst of the worst, And when we would have conversations, we will be talking about not riots. I wouldn't be making references like that on a riot on a different uniform. It's like if your own uniform gets you, how would you react? And I will verbalize some ugly things, and later on those started taking place. Because at that point, uniform or not, it's time to show everyone.
All right, so our 15-minute call, came to an end, and Joe, he's definitely, pulling all the stops and providing us with some really good information, some information I wasn't even aware of, because, you know what, I don't really look that much information up, but nonetheless, it's I find it interesting, what he just brought to the table, and even got me to look up some information, and man, that definitely those numbers that he was providing, based on the information that's out there, it is accurate.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was saying, because most of the time, your own uniform is going to get you. So amongst trusted friends, they would say, what would you, and I would express what I would do. Because at that time, uniform or not, Like at those moments, you're my enemy.
And you know what I was gonna ask you about, those conversations that you were having, and you were putting that out there, to have, people's, the only way to put it, I guess, is have people eyes gouged out.
Say it.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Or stabbed out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think, man, you
Yeah.
like as a person, I think that's like the worst like thing that you could lose. Well, that would be one of the, that's probably one of the top two things that I wouldn't want to lose would be my eyes and my family jewels. And then
Absolutely.
maybe the second thing
Absolutely,
would
bro.
probably be like my lips or my teeth or a ear. But it's up there. Those would be like the 1 and 2 on my list. But
And you know what? Knowledge, like everything has to go back to knowledge, bro. Because I wouldn't have started saying those things or thinking them had I not met a homie from Linwood. Homie Spike from Linwood had one eye and he had a patch on. And he told me the story. And it didn't even happen in prison. It happened like at a road rage on the streets, right? And I remember thinking that is so messed up, bro. Like if that would have happened to me, this and that, right? But without meeting him, I would have never formulated those thoughts. And those thoughts started coming because I was like, well, if I do that, that eliminates the threat. So I know whoever's in front of me, you're just done. And now I just got to worry about the other guy in front of me, So, but without knowing that, I wouldn't have been saying that. Now, when I'm saying it, I'm exposing those thoughts to other people. And in time, stuff like that started happening. And now that I'm older and now that I look back at it, I'm like, man, you should have never spoke that because it feels like you spoke that into existence.
And let me ask you, did you, after, you made the transition and you were about to go on your way out, was that ever a fear of yours that, by you putting that out, that somebody would, try to use that against you?
What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
So you know how you had mentioned to a few of your closest group or car, about taking people's eyes out when they were either on their way out or they were gonna get moved out. When you decided to walk away, like was that ever in your in the back of your mind, like if you ever came across somebody that was
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
If you
ran. Oh no. But let me clear something up because I can see already. Me verbalizing that was not verbalizing it to people on their way out. We get moved on a lot in here by our own people. The discussions that play at the time when I would say things like that were like, hey James, if the homies come get you, what'd you do right now? And then I would say, like, for God bless them, because this is what I'm going to do, da-da-da-da, and then we'll all laugh, and we'll be like, this fool's crazy, and then, you ask the other homie or whatever, but it was like, if the time comes where they come get you, or it's your calentada coming. Okay. So that's how I started verbalizing it, and that's why I was saying, like, uniform or not, at that point, you're my enemy, because there's only one way I see this rolling out, and I'm not losing,
Okay, so I see. So you're talking about if they ever came after you, then that's the way you would handle the situation.
Then all hell will break loose. Yeah, that's the way I would handle the situation.
But since you put that out there, then people might have twisted it up and be like, shit, then when I'm taking somebody else out,
they were definitely they were definitely doing it on the removals.
Yeah. Okay, I see that. Yeah. You opened up Pandora's box and everybody was adding their own twist to it. And once you let it out, I mean, you don't have any control over it.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, that's definitely interesting, like what you were talking about today with the numbers and all the insight and whatnot that you've been you bring to the table. I definitely enjoy having these conversations with you, because everybody that comes on, everybody has like their own angle or special way of communicating and you definitely do. You definitely do have a way of putting things, and I like how you think about things to bring to the table. Beforehand. Before we go on air, and hey, I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, we didn't even get to the other thing, huh?
No.
I mean, whenever you want to go there, yeah, we'll go there, bro.
No, we could do it right now. I wasn't gonna cut it off. I just wanted to go ahead and thank you because when the cutoff time comes, it gets short. We got like a minute, and by that time everything else is out the window. But now
I know, bro. I know.
Right now we're actually good because my lady's actually gonna go pick up. She's gonna go pick up my daughter today from school. So if you said you were gonna you might be going to work today at 2, but obviously it's already 2:16. So that boat already sailed already. So you'll probably be going at 4. Right?
Yeah. Hopefully it's sailed and we're right here.
Yeah. No, so yeah, we can definitely hit the we can also hit the other topic we were talking about.
Okay. Well, you're in the driver's seat, bro.
So man, we were talking about all kinds of stuff, and it just definitely took us down a lane that I never expected. A lot of the things that I was hearing. First, we started off with that, and then you had mentioned that. So, that level, what is it? Block 4, is that is that considered SNY, or is it considered non-designated, or is it considered GP? What exactly? What label does that unit have?
It has to have non-designated 50/50 SNY tag on it. Like, there's no other way you could say that.
Yeah.
It's not special. It's not secluded, or else there will be no reason to leave, vacate. Yeah.
So, I know previous to being getting to where you're at right now, which is Centinela State Prison, you were in it was Tehachapi, right?
High Desert.
Or High Desert.
No, I was in High Desert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And High Desert, was that also SNY or was that GP?
It was all of the above. So it was GP. It was SNY on level 4 and SNY on a level 3. And I was on 3 of them. I was on GP. I was on the SNY level 4, and I was on the SNY level 3, right? Well, the SNY up there is non-designated or whatever, right? So they mingle. You mingle GPs in with us,
So how does that work then? I mean, how can you? I mean, if technically if you put a GP into SNY and they stay there for any amount of time, they're pretty much absorbed into the SNY side. Like they lose their GP status, right?
Absolutely.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Who knows what it is right now, guys? Who knows what it is, right? But it used to be like 72 hours, right? And this yard I'm on right now and A yard, High Desert are the same. They both bring level 1s actives, but they cater to them differently. Like this prison right now, they baby them. They keep them away from us. Now in High Desert, they did not do that. In High Desert, you would go to 5 block the majority of the time, and you go to committee, and once you go to committee, they kick you out. You're done. You go to the yard. It is what it is, right? So when people would go to 5 block, there was like 2 sections filled up and 1 section for new arrivals. So when the new people come, what the porters would do over there, they were homies, they were like from Southern California, and they would go tell them like, hey, are you guys gonna stay or are you guys gonna leave? What are you gonna do, so to speak? And some guys they were undecided. They would act like they're undecided. Some guys would say like, hey, I'm gonna hang out, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna go home to my family, and some guys would be defiant and say, hell no, fool, I'm leaving. This is what it is, fool. Matter of fact, get off my door, So So the porters would tell them, they'll be like, okay, you're leaving, like trip out. You touch any of the homies right here, da 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 da. This is gonna, and then it's kind of a trip to get that verbalization, I guess, because no one expects it, So then when they go to committee, they get cleared, and that's it. They're at yard. And in time, some people change their minds. Some people that want to leave, they end up staying. It's just the reality. And some people that want to leave, they do leave. Now, when I say this place babies them and High Desert didn't, High Desert will put you on the yard. They don't care what happened to you. So when these guys try to leave, the way it was set up, sometimes the yard will swallow them up, And that was my experience in High Desert, And I want to say this too, because the level 3 High Desert was not typically like that. But this is when Gavin Newsom shut down a B yard, shut down the level 4. So we got all those level 4 heads in there. And the majority of the time, the level 4 heads were the ones swallowing up, the other guys that didn't want to be there. It might be a 1-on-1, a 2-on-2, a 4-on-1, and whatever the numbers are, next thing you know, it's like 20 people rush the scene, and it is what it is after,
So the level 4s that you're talking about, these were designated as either SNY or non-designated that were getting absorbed over
yes.
to the. So the level 4s went down to a level
yes.
3. Is that? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, because they didn't have no room because they closed the yard down. So what they did was they transferred so many people out, but the level 3 was like half empty, half full. Like a lot of yards right now are half empty, half full. So when they closed B yard down, they brought all those people to fill up the level 3. So at that time, when they're laying out these guys that are active, you had level 4 inmates out there, and they left that alone. So when someone's active on one of these yards, everybody will know who it is because the porters will be like, hey, this fool in that cell, he's saying he's going to get off. And then little by little, everyone will start seeing him. And then when they go to committee, the same day they go to committee, everyone's like, that fool, that's the one. Or those 2 fools, or those 4-pack, that 6-pack right there. Da-da-da-da. So they're talking. So when it's time to get off, even if it's 6, if the 6 jump on 1 or 2 guys, next thing you know, the yard just swarms them. And now it's like 20, 25 on 6, So that was my experience in High Desert.
And let me ask you, do you have any maybe 1 or 2 stories that you could share with us with any instance?
yeah. Okay, James. Okay. I shared this for the audience. I shared this with James, and he was getting his mind blown. And I was like, but I told the audience, I share a lot more with James than I do on the show. And okay, here's an example, guys. There's
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
There's an active gentleman, and he's like, I'm gonna leave, and the whole yard knows who he is because everyone said, hey, that fool. Okay, cool. So he's at Pill Line, and Pill Line is like a thing in High Desert A yard. It's like a thing. Like everybody's right there. All these Suboxone babies are right there waiting, and right. So then this fool's all hyper, and he's telling one of the homies, he's like, hey, fool, I'm going to get off on one of these fools. And the homie's like, yeah, oh, okay. And the homie just left. The homie just walked away from D yard, right? And so I'm going to call back right now because it's going to hang up.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, so we were down to the wire right now. We just got that 60-second announcement. Hey, and ICEMAN, I want to go ahead and welcome you if you're still in here. Man. Keep on doing the thing, and luckily, you have the luxury of listening to this, while you're at work, and make sure you know where your fingers are at all times, because I don't want you to have less than 10 fingers at any time. So, it's very It's very important. You keep your eyes on the prize. All right, and here he is. He's back again.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Talent. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this little dude's hyper, and he's in the pill line, right? And like I say, sometimes these guys stay, so nobody attacks them when they're there because you don't know if he's ultimately gonna stay or not, right? So he's in pill line. He's like, man, I'm gonna get off, homie. Who should I get off on? And he's talking to the homie right next door to him, right? Like they're just free in the yard. And he goes, should I get off on that fool? And he was mentioning a guy named Boy from P Flats, Primera Flats. And Boy's doing, like, he's growing his hair out right now, so he kind of looks a little funky, right? But you can still see the 23 on his face, and you still see tattoos. And the homie's like, I didn't want him to get off on Boy, so I looked at him, and I'm just like, well, if you really want to get off, well, I guess you could get off on me. And the little guy's eyes popped so big, like he couldn't believe it because the homie's bald. The homie got the hood on the back of his head. The homie's like, he's a homie. Like, when I'm talking about SNY, like, they're all homies. 50-50, non-designated. What you're looking at is a homie. So this fool can't believe what he just heard. And he's like, oh, fuck no, oh, what the fuck? So this fool's all pumped up, and then they start fighting. And the homie Lucky was from Baldwin Park, the one that told him, well, you get off on me then, you know? And now he mopped him. He mopped him up, bro. And after that, all the COs and everyone was like, dang, fool, we didn't know you could fight like that, and whatever, because he had just got there, you know? But yeah, that was one story where the little guy, he couldn't believe. He's over here asking for guidance and advice. And the fool just told him, like, hey, fool, well, I'm on this side, you know, you can get off on me, and he couldn't believe it, you know?
And what happens with as far as, you know, like going to AdSeg or getting put on a timeout when a new person or a GP comes onto an SNY yard, are you still written up, or how are those handled, you know, from the administration side?
And they're handled differently. In High Desert, there was like a golden rule, like don't engage and don't kick. Like if they run up, it's good, but you can't be the one to run up, you know? Just mind your own business, and if they run up, let them take a swing or two, and then if you mop them up, you mop them up. It does not matter, you know? So there were freebies over there. And that's a huge comfort zone, I guess, so to speak, because nobody, like a lot of people are not trying to get in trouble, you know, and you're doing this as an administration, and it's almost like forcing the trouble. So when you have something like that, it's just a lovely thing, you know.
So there's pretty much, it's kind of like a gray area, if you will.
Yeah, but you cannot kick. You cannot kick at all. And if you break something, that's another. Like if you land and you break his jaw, like that's gonna be a write-up, you know? If you break a nose, that's gonna be a write-up. But if you just don't break nothing and don't kick, then you're good. And then what will happen too a lot, James, is the guys are trying to desperately leave the yard, right? So when, you know, and I say this because it happened more than once. It happens a lot more than you would think. When you got all kinds of fools in the cages because they jumped them, you'll have the guy telling the sergeant, like, hey, I can't be here. You know, I'm not supposed to be here. I can't. And then the homies on this side will have to shut him up. Like, hey, fool, watch what you're saying. watch what you're saying, because that might be typed up on the report. You can't say I can't be here, because that's you can't do that. So everybody's played this game. So the last thing they're trying to do is trying to see this guy that's trying to follow all the rules get in trouble, get himself in trouble, So sometimes fools forget, and they're like, I can't be here, and it's like, you can't say that, fool. Like, what if someone reads that? What if that sergeant? And I say this because they had called that sergeant back, and they told him, hey, don't put that on his report, And the little guy was like, "Oh, thank you, man. I didn't even, like they're talking in the cages, but it's like, fool, like it's sad because they're like schooling him, like, hey, what's wrong with you, fool? Like, we're already over here. It is what it is, right? But you can't verbally say that to this fool, and he writes it down, and then you go to the other side, and they're gonna be like, what's up with that,
Hey,
Just do what you do. And get off and go about your day. Don't tell this cop you can't be here.
I wanna bounce back to Centinela right there, back to Block 4. So
yeah,
what would happen to somebody that ends up there, and let's say they get off? They're like, screw it, I'm not gonna be here. They get off, and then they get shipped over to a different facility, like, because you said they're level 1, right?
I think they take them to A yard.
Yeah,
I think they take them to A yard. I think they boost their points up and just put them on A yard, and now they're safe. They're comfortable,
So, but A yard, what is that? Is that a level 2 or level 1?
It's a level 3. But here's the thing: if it's a level 1 and he gets the incident that he just was in gets his points to a level 2, they can override him to a level 3. You can override up or down. So what I want to say is this.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
You inquired to me before how high my points were, right? Like, was I in the 400s or whatever? And I was like, nah, I like 150, I came to this prison, but I had level 4 points. And I just turned level 3 points months ago, maybe like 2 months ago, bro. It took 27 years to get my points down to level 3. That's crazy when you think about it, right? But that's the reality. But now that I'm at level 3, I can override to a level 2. Or if I'm messing up, they can override me to level 4. I can go up or down.
And do you want to go down to a level 2?
You know what? I've always, yeah, absolutely, bro. Because I never been there, Like like when you just said the question right now, I was gonna think about it and forget all that, bro. I've never even thought I could ever hit a level 2. Of course I would. I would love to be level 2. I never thought my feet would ever set foot on a level 2.
Did you ever think you could set foot on level 3?
No, bro. Never. Like after I decided to leave, cut ties with the gang lifestyle and all that, yeah, I knew I could touch a level 3, right? But if you're talking about before the point system changed, where they could override you, no matter how many points you had, no, I didn't. I never thought I would ever be on a level 3. And like I say, for like the past 2 years or 3 years, I've been level 3, but I had level 4 points. Keep in mind, my points just turned level 3. Like 2 or 3 months ago, and I was so proud and shocked at that. I was like, dang, I never thought I'd get here.
And in theory, how long would it take you down? How long would it take you to get down to level righteous, like level 2 points?
The way things are now, I don't even know what a level 2 is, James. I don't even know what the points are. I have no idea what the points are, bro. That's how lost in the sauce I was my whole term. Like, why even think about that? We're never even gonna reach it, you know. I didn't know what level 2 points looked like. I didn't know what level 3 like I knew level 4 was this, but like we were so high, we probably won't ever get back down there again, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanna take you back to High Desert, right? It was High Desert that you were at.
Okay. Yeah.
So, man, that's definitely interesting. That pretty much you guys would get a freebie. Would it be the other way around? Like, let's say somebody from the SNY side, rush the GP inmates that show up there. Do they?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so because I can't see them rushing nobody. I can't see them because it's a different mindset, right? Like you're trying to do good. You're not trying to mess up. So the only ones I could see rushing on anything is that non-designated or 50-50. That guy's gonna get swallowed up right there. You put him on any yard, and if he makes it out to the cell, yeah, he is in for a world full of hurt.
You know what?
If he makes it out.
If you had to put a number on how many times, I guess I mean, for lack of a better word, who won the most? What side would say would came out victorious on these
Hey, bro, and I told you before, like I didn't share none of this because I didn't want to, and then you were like, well, why not? And I was like, cause okay, before anybody or the audience or anybody says anything, we all.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We all come from one place, right? So we're all pretty much a homie before anything. Before you leave it, you're a homie, So it's not like when you decide to leave, it's not like you're just like and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of ex-homies that hate the homies that can't stop talking bad about them, right? But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about the ones that don't. The ones that don't do that. I'm talking about when stuff like that's happening and you're in High Desert, and for me, I just used to be like, it's a trip. Because I left everything alone. But to see someone get the short end of the stick when I feel like you should come out shining, I was always mind blown at that. And I say that, and something tells me that I have to say that at the end of the day, it's homies fighting homies, so it shouldn't be that shocking. But in High Desert, at least, the GPs were getting whooped on. The ones that were leaving. But granted, he's not getting whooped on by a nobody. He's getting whooped on by another homie. You get what I'm saying? An ex-homie, but still a homie. So it shouldn't be that bad. But in my heart of hearts, I will feel like, man, that's messed up, fool. Like, what's wrong with these fools, And you have to remind yourself, like, they're level 1s. And these fools are level 4. It's just a different mentality, a different everything. Yeah, James?
Yeah, and then also too, I think it's a numbers games. It's a numbers games too.
Exactly, because they're short, and like I say, when things go wrong, 20 guys will. So how do you win that?
There's just no way.
How do you win? Yeah, there's no way, bro. So there's no way to win. Like whoever the visiting team is the one that's gonna lose. But in my heart of hearts, I will still be like, oh, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because I'll be like that, and I'll be like, but at the same time, it's another homie doing the damage. Like there was a homie from Tiny Boys that just came out the kitchen, and this fool's tatted up again. He's a homie.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
He got the big T on his face, right? So when these other fools that just went to committee, they're like, "What's up, fool? You active?" And he's like, "Nah." And they looked at him like, "What? Like you ain't?" And they rush him, and that fool, man, he broke him down like if he knew UFC, you know, and these stories just go on and on. But it's just like, but how can anyone say anything else because it's a homie at the end of the day, whipping on another homie.
So I know the call's about to hang up. If you want to go ahead and we could start off on a fresh one.
Okay.
All right. So right now, when he comes back, I'm gonna step away for a moment. I gotta go out. I gotta go and grab some water because I'm thirsty. I'm getting thirsty right here, and I think it's because I don't have my air conditioner. I should probably turn it on. I ever since we installed this, we installed some mini splits here in the office, and I haven't even turned it on here. So better get used to using it because the summer is coming, and it's definitely gonna be piping something ugly. Hey Biddy K, I saw your comment. Sorry for the late reply here.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello?
Hello, Joe?
Hey, James, can you picture, like the girl audience out there? They're like, a homie and a homie and a homie. What's this homie talking about, you know? What you talking about, crazy homie? You know?
You know what? And I want to say something. So, the reason I wanted to share this with the audience was not to make anybody look bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, if somebody is going down this path, and this is a road that they're going to be, you know, going down, these are the things I want them to know that they might, but
yeah,
it's something they might have to deal with one day. You know, they might end up on a yard. They don't have any control over it. And I just want them to know what they're going to be up against.
Yeah.
Like what the
I know.
And this is not going to be like
yeah, and when we were
like 300 or Braveheart.
When we were talking, when we were talking off air, like when I was sharing this stuff and you were laughing and all this, right? The reason I tell you I didn't want to share, like I never shared stuff like that before, is because like I didn't want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Like because I was once upon a time I was that, right? And then you were like, well, these are the things that should be shared because it's the truth, fool. Like you're holding it from people, you know. And at the end of the day, no one's getting seriously hurt. I don't want to give that image. None of these fools are hurting nobody, right? But those things did happen. High desert AR, you know, those things were happening on a continuous basis, you know. And like I say, some people just stay. They just get lost in the sauce. They stay and they're cool, you know. And who knows when they go home? Who knows what they tell their people? Like, oh yeah, well I was this, I'm right. But the reality is, guys, when I came over here, there was a lot of people that we absolutely thought transferred out. We absolutely thought got in trouble and went to the shoe. And those were just misleading factors that the CEOs had kind of hinted and we went with. And when I came to this side, I seen them and I was like, what the heck? And they're like, what's up, fool? And I'm like, fool, no one thinks you're over here. Everyone thinks, they're like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, so some fools escape invisibly is what I'm saying. And nobody knows, nobody's the wiser. And then they don't tell their people on the streets. Like they don't say, hey, I did this, I left, whatever. It's a big secret. And
esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I have personally had conversations with some people like this, and been like, how can you not say? And they're like, it's no one's business. But that's your girl, fool. Like, it's none of her business. It's none of her business what I do in here. And I just be tripping out, and I'll be like, oh, I could never do that, bro. That's like, I don't know. But to each his own. I can't judge them. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, some people are literally invisible over here under a blanket, you know? I guess that's why they call pulling your covers, huh? Because they under the blanket and nobody knows nothing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if somebody's not there and they're not, privy to that information, then yeah, it's easy. It's easy, to slip through the cracks and act like nothing happened.
And that was mind blowing to me, James, because here I am thinking I know everything about prison, and that was something I completely did not know at all.
Yeah. My wife just came into the room to let me know she was gonna go pick up, because normally I pick up my daughter from school, but today she's not, or today I'm not, and she's picking her up. So she just came in to make me aware of that. She's stepping out of the house.
Okay.
But man, definitely a lot of good information today. Stuff that never even crossed my mind. I do hear some of these other channels and some of the things they talk about. When this whole thing was happening with GP, getting thrown over to the 50 yards, you would hear stories of people, ending up in those places. But hearing firsthand accounts it's different.
Yeah. And you know what? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I was messing with the headphones.
Okay.
Did a loud beat go through the headphones or through?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna have to send some help over there to you. What was I gonna say? Because again, guys, when I shared this just the last time about fools being scared when they were talking about integrating the gang members back to the yards, right? And that was on the level 3 I was at. Now, keep in mind, the level 4 felt completely different from the level 3. The level 4 still, it was not a 180, but it's just a normal SNY level 4. But it still felt like a completely different world because everyone's criminal still. Everyone's like, get this in, do that. Like it's still very criminal. And then when you go to like a level 3, it gets dramatically softer.
Yeah, because
environments change on both sides.
So, but on level 3, would you think it's because more people are going home, so they're more focused on that, opposed to a level 4?
Yeah. I think the 4s are just like guys getting kicked out from 4s, or guys continuously getting in trouble. Because there was 2 gentlemen that used to have multiple murders in house, like in custody murders, right? And they were up there, and everybody, no matter who you talk to, would say the same thing, like, that guy's off his rocker. Like, we come to prison and you meet all the killers of the killers, and nobody is more deadly than you, right? But for some reason, these 2 guys, everybody knew, like, I wouldn't want to be his cellie because he's just someone that should never be let out of prison, So sometimes I don't know. Some people, like, we can see they should never be let out, as criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them was one of the guys that, remember I told you they broke his arms? They broke his arms, they broke his legs, and he was one of those evil ones. And they did that in Tehachapi on the 180 SNY. I could see why. No, remember I told you just like a 180 is violent, remember? And I said I I've never heard about nobody breaking arms or legs
Mm-hmm.
in a.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Well, they broke that guy's bones in Tehachapi, and he was one of those very violent, very multiple murders in prison. And I guess when he got up there, again, you can't beat the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So as crazy as he was and as evil as he was, they just decided, let's just break this fool off and send him on his way. And he ended up going back to high desert.
And did that fix him? Did that fix him, or do you know what happened?
No, absolutely not. No, no. I would not trust that fool with a celly if my life depended on it. Like, no, you know.
Oh, so this guy, even though he had multiple murders, in-house murders, he still wasn't single cell status.
No, what I'm saying is, he is. You do go, if you kill your celly, you go single cell status, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them two fools I'm talking about, they did kill their cellies in the ASU right there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that guy that happened to, like, you would think some people would get humbled, you know? Some people would, like, humbleness would set in. But some people are just like they're off, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's no fixing him, or like no there's you know, prison was designed, again, people for people, and that's someone that I don't think should ever be let out, and I don't think I'm alone in that opinion, you know? Yeah, like it's bad when you got all the killers of the killers talking about you, like, that fool, no, I got family out there, no, don't not let this one out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely bad. You know, you're definitely in a bad position. Yeah, when you have the whole population.
And you know what? Even with the laws changing, I don't even think those guys think about ever getting out. You know, I think they kind of know where they sit in the fate of destiny and all that.
Well, I think at that point they've already dug a hole, you know, a pretty deep hole right there. I mean,
too big to climb out of. Yeah.
But you know.
Absolutely, bro.
I will say this, because obviously nowadays a lot of things are happening now that I never imagined were possible 10 years ago. So I mean, in another 10 years, who knows where we'll be at? You know, if the current administration comes in, or a different administration comes in, that.
No, there has to be logic, bro. There has to be logic. Like, they don't even just let us out like that. Like, we have to fight for it, you know? We have to fight and fight and fight for it. I can't see, you know? Like there's people that have made poor choices, and then there's just evil people, you know? And the evil people are few, far, and in between. Like, you got to lift up some special rocks to find those ones, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for today, what's on your agenda for today? What's you got? Maybe Beyonce coming by, or what's or maybe Taylor Swift?
Nah, bro, Taylor Swift is cooking, bro. That's Travis's girl. The Beehive is happy she got a little country song out there, you know. And I don't know. Probably eat. Go to work, and come back, shower. That's it. It's a day. It's another one in the wraps.
You know, I was on, and the reason I bring up Beyonce is because I was on Reddit. That's one of my daily rituals. You know, I jump on Reddit and just like read, you know, what people are, you know, talking about. And I came across.
Is that a blogger? A blogger spot?
So Reddit, it's kind of like, I would say, like, it's kind of like the easiest way I could put it or explain it would be like forums. And
okay,
people like there's like subreddits. So like, let's say you're interested in finding out, you know, things about New York. You would type in r/New York, and then you would come into a page that has nothing but stuff from like New York, or a specific like New York traveling. If there is such a thing, then that's where you would go, and then you would ask people like, hey, I'm interested in going to New York. Like, what would you recommend, for me to go, and then a bunch of people would chime in and whatnot. So, but there's all kinds of different topics. Like there's like wife topics, there's local topics, there's politics, there's Trump, Biden. So there's like special subreddits for whatever you could think about. All right. So
Yeah.
I came across this one. There was a picture of Eminem with there was a picture of Eminem,
Dr. Dre,
Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, and
50 Cent,
and
Snoop Dogg.
and
Snoop Dogg.
Yep. They were at the in
Yeah, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. So did you notice how Eminem looked? He had like a hoodie on. He had like his little hat.
Yeah.
His, like little beard.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I guess I'm not sure how long ago this was, but Beyonce had dressed up like Eminem. She put the little hat on. She put the little hoodie on, that gray hoodie on.
No way, bro. For real?
Yeah, with a little like half a beard or half a like a goatee.
Yeah.
And then she
Yeah.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I don't know exactly what the comment she put on there, but pretty much saying that Slim Shady, that's the way he always looks. Like, I don't know if this picture was taken 10 years ago or 5 days ago, but everybody was cracking up because she just hit the nail on the head, because that's him to a T right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, man,
crazy, huh?
I should have saved that picture so I could have posted up so everybody could have kind of seen what the title or the caption was, or the meme. I found it pretty hilarious. But the original thing was that within a 10-year span, Dr. Dre, he created he helped promote like superstars. Snoop Dogg started with Snoop Dogg, then 50 Cent, and then ultimately with Eminem. All right, so this 15-minute call just came to an end. So as soon as he calls back, then we'll go ahead and continue. And right now, I don't have a limit as long as far as like how long I could be on this call, just because normally I pick up my daughter from school, but my wife is picking her up today, so I'll be able to stay on here for a bit longer, and hopefully if Joe doesn't have anything going on, then we'll go ahead and continue it. We're about to be in we've been on for like an hour and 37 minutes so far. I don't have any other plans of let me see here.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joe Perez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he made it. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you, but over the weekend, we were up in Salt Lake City, and we did our first, I guess, GTL video visit with Javi out in the wild. We went ahead and we went out to a local zoo out there, and the reason I'm bringing this up is maybe you would be interested in we could I could take you out somewhere. I don't know, like maybe one day if I'm out and about, I don't know, maybe we could go out like to Alcatraz, or maybe an airport, walk around an airport. I'm not sure when the last time you saw an airport or something, maybe.
Or we could just walk down the strip.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let me keep you close to home,
Yeah, man. The possibility, I mean, even the supermarket, McDonald's.
No, I think we'll stick to the strip. Yeah, bro.
Right, man. Yeah, we could. The possibilities are endless now with the technology. The way they have it out. So I don't want to limit myself just to one type of content. I want to bring in like a wide variety of different different angles, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. I'm into that.
Yeah, I don't want to box myself in just to one genre, or way of doing things.
Yeah.
I want to be flexible.
Yeah.
If some days I don't feel like being on the phone, then I want to be, out there, and I want to share that with you guys. First of all, and then with the audience also, because they'll get to experience those moments and reactions of you guys not seeing something for decades.
Man, bro, we just missed Usher's Lovers and Friends festival. Damn it.
When was that?
That was earlier this year. I don't know when, or maybe it was last year. My bad. Maybe it was last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
but there's always something popping right there.
But I'll tell you what. We're actually we're gonna go to Coachella next month. So hey, maybe we could do that.
Maybe, bro. You ain't never lied. Yeah, bro.
Man, imagine, getting a reaction, from, being at Coachella, man. That'd definitely be mind blowing, right?
Do you know who's gonna be performing, or everyone's gonna be performing, huh?
You know what? Man, I'm really horrible at retaining information, especially when my wife is giving
I'll tell you. Doja Cat, Sexy Red, Drake, Yeezy, Ty Dolla $ign, YG. We just keep going. I just name people. I don't even know if they're going or not, but most likely they are people.
You know what? The only person that I remember my wife telling me, and I think she told me yesterday or the day before that, she told me Peso.
Ariana Grande.
No, Peso Pluma.
Peso Pluma.
Yeah, yep.
Peso Pluma at Coachella, Sally. Yeah, Peso Pluma, Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I think Bad Bunny. Oh, so hold on. I just pulled it up right now. I just pulled up the lineup right now. So we got Lana Del Rey.
Karol G, Becky G, Selena.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, Selena Gomez.
We got Little Yachty. Yeah, we got Dom Dalla. I have no idea who that is.
I don't even know who that is. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
There's a lot of people on the lineups here that I don't recognize. We got little Uzi Vert.
Oh, I like him. I like Lil Uzi.
Oh, we got J Balvin.
Oh, J Balvin. Yep.
We got YG, Marlene.
Dang, everybody.
I'm not sure who that is.
I can't believe how that thing just came out like overnight, man.
Coachella's been out.
They found something
for years.
For real? I barely remember it like from 2008 this way.
Nah, I think it's been going on way before then. I think it was more of a rave.
Oh man.
I think if from the way I understand it correctly, yeah. Oh, we got Tyler the Creator.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a yeah.
Oh, we got Doja.
I don't know if I hear any of his music. Doja Cat, that's all we need. I love Doja Cat.
Deftones.
I don't know who that is.
We got Santa Fe Clan. I've heard of them, but I don't know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
We got Ice Spice.
Okay.
Young Miko. Miko with an M.
Okay.
I'm not sure who they are either. Yeah, like I would say, 95% of this lineup. I don't know. I know DJ Snake.
Okay.
Do you know who that is? What song he? I only know one of his songs, and it's the one. It's what is it? Is it Turned Down for What?
That's one of his.
Yeah. With a
little guy.
Yeah,
little dude's yelling all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice beat, bro.
It is.
Yeah, that's a nice beat.
Hey, have you seen the video for that one? Hey,
Is it nice?
it's a trip, man. I'm gonna have to play it for you next time we're on a video visit. I'm definitely gonna have to put it. I'm gonna have to get your reaction to that video.
Okay. Okay. That beat still go, huh?
Yeah, that it knocks. That one definitely knocks.
Yeah.
And I'm just scrolling down the list to check if there's any names that I recognize here. But man, I just none of these names. I don't. I'm definitely out of the loop here. I'm sure there are different genres here, but man, I'm definitely living under a rock over here.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like halfway down the list, and I don't recognize any of these names. DJ
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Recognizing the names or not, you're gonna have a fun time, bro.
Shit, especially if alcohol's involved.
How much were the tickets? Were they expensive, or a couple $100?
You know what? I want to say, I think they were easily
Six?
over. They were easy. I think a little bit over $500. I want to say.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I took them out on a payment plan. I was paying. You know what? I originally, what ended up happening was, you know, one of my buddies, you know, my childhood friends, one of my crimies. You know, we've been friends since '93, and this dude,
Okay.
you know, we've been hanging tough for years. Even when I moved, you know, we still been, we normally we would talk like every day or every other day, and you know, he was telling me, actually he got me, you know, a few months back, he had told me that oh no, sorry, it was last year. He had told me there was gonna be this festival out in Dodger Stadium called what was it? It was called the Bésame Mucho Festival. He had gone to it the year before, which was the first year. So he was like, "Hey man, you guys should come along and this, that, and other." So we ended up getting the tickets the day that they dropped, and I told my wife, "Here, look, I'm getting you an early birthday gift. I'm getting us tickets for this festival." And she was like, "How much you pay for them?" She's like, "Man, that's ridiculous." I was like, "You know what? Yeah, it is. You know, I think we ended up paying I ended up paying like over $1,000 for both of the tickets, and it's a 1-day event." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. You know, it is a lot of money, but it's not something that I plan on doing every year. You know, this is just like a one-time type of thing." And we had actually spoken. We wanted to go see somebody in a concert right here. And
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
if we would have gone to see this artist,